Welcome to Soul's Enterprise,
your beloved home of inspiration and information on your paths of healing, attainment, and liberation.
Taking a moment to connect with ourselves, with each other.
Today we wanted to connect to one component of a deep part of our work here at Soul's Enterprise, family constellations.
So we've talked a bit here and there about family constellations, but it's greatly informed our work. It's one of the dozens of modalities that we combine to help the people who come and ask for our support through individual, dyadic, transcendation, or any of our events or programs. So we love family constellation healing. I think we've shared with you all that, in fact, our first date 6 years ago, almost to a T. Is it going to be 7? It was on Halloween at a family constellation night with Gary Stewart. We've since then we've had the honor to attend, represent, be clients in various ways of doing family constellations, including one I just went to in Costa Rica, actually, before we left, and Vlado from, where is he from?
Serbia.
Yeah, I always forget. So all kinds of ways of doing it. But one consistent thing that we've seen and we've learned along the way is what we're calling, and not everyone calls it this, but what we're calling healing statements.
So one of the important pieces of the family constellation work is the transgenerational nature of it. And so often with trauma through generations, things are unspoken, unsaid, secrets are held. So a big part of family constellations as we experience it in love and that we utilize at Soul's Enterprise offerings is giving voice to things that haven't been stated. So healing statements.
Mm-hmm. So healing statements can, again, each facilitator has their own flavor of them. And although family constellations, like you just said, Prasad, are usually generational, we're healing generational trauma. The Zulu tribe believed 7 generations before, 7 generations after. Sometimes I've been in some that were past life, multidimensional, all kinds of things can and will show up, because we're just trusting the field to show us what is needed. How this comes into our work, even though we don't call what we do family constellations, it does inform our work. So for example, for me, in my individual transcendation sessions, these healing statements will show up, for example, to heal inner child work, right? When we're doing parts work, there might be a healing statement that intuitively comes up, and I might say to my client, will you repeat after me? Or here's what I'm getting, say it in your own words, because I find it, and this is where the different flavors come in. There are some facilitators who will just say, repeat after me. And then there are other facilitators who allow a little bit of flexibility so that if it really, you get to say whatever really resonates with you. And so it could be any number of examples. It could be, we might have a pillow as our 7-year-old, for example, for someone who is an adult now, right? And we might be dialoguing with a 7-year-old. And then there comes in for me this strong intuition of, oh, this is what your 7-year-old needs to hear. And I will make this the healing statement, and then the client gets to repeat it to their 7-year-old in a way that fits them, their vocabulary. Because I find, from the way that I work, even in my own healing journey, that the words are really important. So there's been times in my own healing work through constellations or through using the tools we use with clients to with ourselves, I might say things in Spanish sometimes because that's my native language and that's my family. Prasad's here in Mexico now with us. We all speak Spanish primarily. So it might be a foreign language, it might be a particular word that you used when you were 7-year-olds to stay within that example, etc.
And deeper, or at least for me, experientially, time and time and time again, hundreds of times representing in family constellations and in my own constellations, there's a vibration that happens when these statements are made. If the intention is healing or resolving some issue, to actually discuss it directly, to make that statement that hasn't been made for generations, that's been held in. I've literally repeatedly and with clients multiple times felt the release, a somatic shift when something gets said that's been held with from great grandmother on down. All of a sudden, when we get to verbalize for her, hey, I didn't like that abuse, or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That's the nice way we work, is we find the correct wording. With NLP and other modalities, it's so important to get the precise words.
And on the receiving end, it could be really beautiful. Something I witnessed recently was that the great grandmother or someone down the lineage of the mother line was giving their blessing to the client to continue on their path, doing it differently, because that's the breaking of the pattern, doing life in a different way, making different choices. Because with family constellations, what we see, and even in psychotherapy, which we don't do here, but we do understand it, it does inform our work as well, is that some of the patterns exist because there are parts of us, this is just one way to look at it, that remain loyal to the ancestors, to the great grandmother, whether we met them in person, whether we're aware or not, because they gave us life. Without the ancestors, we're not here in a body. Without our parents, whatever our relationship is with our parents or our grandparents, or our parents' relationship with their parents, etc., we are here. This life has been given to us as a gift because of their survival skills. And sometimes those survival skills become toxic patterns. So you can see how all of this relates, and undoing it is such a beautiful process. Not always easy, sometimes challenging, sometimes easy, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's muddy, but it's well worth it.
The last thing I want to say about these healing statements that we borrow from family constellations is that, in line with the vibrational shift I was talking about, can be subtle. And we're not always going to say, oh, make this healing statement, or, try this out. It might subtly come in. So the invitation, especially when we work with the transgenerational work, is to be open to that subtlety and open to the shifts that can be happening with these healing statements.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll join us sometime soon and get to try on healing statements for yourself. And if you want to set an intention, if you're familiar enough, if this makes sense enough to you that you understand what a healing statement might be, maybe comment below and make your own statement here and now and get the wheels turning so that healing can come your way. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Much love.
And Viva Mexico. It's Independence Day in Mexico.
Viva Mexico.
Hasta luego.